Ele o livrará do laço do caçador e do veneno mortal. That's Portuguese. It's the Buff Missionary. We out here trying to provoke thought as we look at Psalm 91. Kind of an interlude as we go through our Bible study here. Psalm 91, we're tag teaming it with Lamentations. And Lamentations is deep, but this verse, this passage, Psalm 91, kind of connects with it as well. So there are verses, passages, what's the word I'm looking for? Chapters I'm trying to memorize in Portuguese. Psalm 91 is one of them. It's one of my favorites. Definitely rising to the top among my favorite verses or passages. And it's one that I've definitely enjoyed getting to learn in a different language. Hopefully I can become more fluent in Portuguese at some point. That's the ultimate goal. But I just wanted to go through these verses one by one because it's such a beautiful psalm in the sense that you really get to see like the heart, the emotion of somebody who's really going through it in a way that I don't think Christianity gives the Bible enough credit for. What do I mean by that? Well, we generally look at it as this kind of guidebook and it gives us the pro tips for life and all of this. But when it comes to the sad emotions and when it comes to those moments where you're not feeling your best and when you're looking for that kind of strength, not because you're supposed to rely on God, but because you feel like He's your only option, I don't think we talk about that enough within Christianity. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below if you agree with this or not, or what your thoughts are on this. But to me, it seems like the perception of Christianity that's given out is a more stoic one. Like, you're supposed to be thinking this way and you're always supposed to be confident because you have God. Or you're never supposed to feel this way. You should always feel strong because you have God. And I don't feel like that's what I'm getting from the text. I don't feel like the text is trying to tell us that we never doubt and that we never fear and that we never are sad and that we're never questioning, that we're never in these moments. Because, I don't know, the majority of the Bible characters were in those moments. And even Jesus, when we talk about his life, we don't often talk about something like Gethsemane, where he was in that moment, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting. I think that we focus a lot on the other stuff and we kind of distance ourselves from the vulnerable parts of Christianity. And ultimately, I think that's to the detriment of Christianity because now it puts itself in a position where it can't relate to everyone who's a normal person who deals with those regular emotions every day. Anytime that I try to put myself in a position where I'm not feeling something the same as you, but I have the solution for your problem, it's not going to come across well. Not at all. But this verse, I gave it to you in Portuguese. I'll read it now in English. Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. The idea of this word surely, for me, that's an interesting one to deal with. Because surely means like surely this will happen. You almost hear the hopefulness there kind of mixed with the doubt at the same time. It's like, surely it's going to happen. Surely it will go this way. But you're in a situation where it's clearly not going that way. It's talking about from the fowler's snare, right? Contextually, you have hunters and people out there. He's almost putting himself in the position of an animal where you're getting captured by a trap. You're getting surprised by something you didn't think was there. And now this thing that you had no prior thought of before, this surprise that just pops up and traps you, actually threatens your entire existence. Like, that's tough. That's tough. And I don't know. I was talking with one of my friends about this a couple weeks ago. What the soul of an animal is like and what their cognition is like. And I wouldn't dare to presume that they don't have one, but I would also not think that it's quite like humans. But you could only imagine what it's like for an animal that's in this trap. They're just going about open world exploring, whatever, about their day to day. And they get in this trap and they're like, shoot, what is this? Something that's threatening their very existence, but at random. It's like, I guess the contrast would be if you go into a situation knowing fully that we sign waivers for stuff all the time, right? You're gonna go bungee jumping, you sign a waiver. You go, what do they call it? Jumping out of a plane with the parachute. I can't remember what it's called, but I want to do it. You got to sign a waiver for that. You go scuba diving, you sign waivers. Like, you go into these things knowing that there's an inherent danger. There's a risk that you're accepting by virtue of engaging in the experience. And so you kind of view it. You still might be surprised when you get in those life in the balance moments doing those things, but you can't say that you were completely ignorant to it. In this one here, it's like, it's got you. It's a deadly pestilence, something that has come upon you and surprised you, and it threatens you and you want a way out. And yet, because of what David has said in the first couple verses, that by dwelling in the shelter of the Most High and by resting in the shadow of the Almighty, understanding and believing that God is your fortress and your refuge, someone that you can trust in. That's the prompt. That's the man, I'm losing my words this morning. That's the thing that inspires that. There it is. That's the thing that inspires David to say, surely, that word. That's the inspiration for that word, because he feels like, because of all these things that he believes about God, there has to be a way out. And yeah, this has caught me completely off guard. Yeah, this does threaten my very being. But because of what I know and believe about God, surely I got to get out of this. Surely he's got to get me out of this and deliver me from this thing that threatens me. I don't know how many experiences we have like that on the daily, like actual life and death experiences. But there are a lot of different things we go through that feel that way. For a lot of people in school, it's the stress of missing an assignment, or waking up and realizing that you have a test in a half an hour that you didn't study for, or missing an appointment, or I don't know. It could be anything that you feel underprepared for, or just that you forgot something that slipped your mind. A lot of these things feel like life or death situations. It could be something within relationships and how you engage with people. A good friend who now seems like an enemy. It could be anything. It could be people that you looked up to and you felt like you had really good favor with and rapport with, and now they view you in a different way, and you're trying to get back to how things were. We have all these different situations that we view as being life or death, and for us they are quite serious in those moments. And I think something like this still applies. Do we have the kind of relationship with God? Do we have the trust and understanding in who he is, and the confidence of being under his shelter, the confidence and the strength that comes from saying, hey, God is my refuge, he is my fortress, I can be at peace in him, so these other things will be okay? Do we have that? Do we have the ability to rely so much on a relationship that we can say, surely all of that and this thing that I'm counting on, this thing that I trust in, will get me through this moment? That's something that I struggle with sometimes. Perhaps the biggest contrast to that, I keep coming back to it because it's one of the biggest things looming in my life right now, is kind of the situation with my mom and her struggles with mental health and how it impacts the rest of us. Just got a text this morning, something random, something that I wouldn't want to repeat, that she texted out to a bunch of other people. And I almost immediately get scared and nervous when I see these messages, because I'm like, man, who did this go to, and who's being impacted by this? And it's tough, man. It's tough. And when it comes to the way that I react to it and the way that my dad responds, For me, it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Just got to ride the wave and hope that something gets better. But for him, it's more, I believe in God. Can't he help me with this? Isn't he going to get me through this? Surely he's going to deliver me from this snare. And I respect that. And I also look at it in definitely some humility and some shame to a degree, because I can't honestly say that I feel that confident in it. And I'm not going to say that my confidence is not in God, because God is going to do his thing and he's pretty damn good at what he's going to do. But I think my lack of confidence, and this is completely on me, it's in the relationship that I have with God. And, I feel like there's always more that I can do. I feel like there's always things that I'm missing out on, opportunities where I should be doing this, but I'm doing that. Or I'm waking up early to do this and I'm not really dedicating the time with God. And it hurts. It hurts because part of me wants to do it because it feels like that's where the benefit is. And part of me doesn't want to do it because I'm not sure that it's making a difference. But in spite of all of that, I think what I need to remember is it might not necessarily be about the end result and the outcome. And maybe it's more about the process. I think that I've tended to dwell more on outcome instead of process and showing up consistently. I actually didn't think this video was going to go this direction, but I'm going to talk about it since we're here. There are a lot of things that I think I would have done in life that I had some skill or ability in that I never saw all the way through because I didn't think I would reach a certain outcome. So I worried more about that thing that was supposed to be at the end, and as a result, I didn't stay consistent all the way through. And while there are a lot of different things that are popping into my mind that I could refer this to, I think maybe one of the biggest ones is the spiritual experience. Like, especially within spirituality, right? There's an outcome. There's a pretty clearly defined outcome. You read through Revelation, you have the second coming, you have all this kind of stuff. But as a result, if we focus on that, it can make it more difficult for us to really lock in on the day-to-day, because we might have a moment that brings into question that outcome. And so you end up saying, well, since I've done this and since I didn't have as good a relationship with God, I'm probably not going to. So you end up going further away. It's like when I was in grade school, I didn't think I was going to get an A. So I didn't care to study at all. And so I would do really bad in my classes and with my stuff. And what I realized later in college was, by continuing to show up, pay attention in class, take notes, that's actually what got me the good grades. And I think making that bridge with the spiritual things, it's even more important. Like, I shouldn't focus on the outcome like, oh, I'm going to be super spiritual and I'm never going to have any problems because I have this relationship with God. And maybe I just need to worry more about focusing and showing up in the day-to-day and strengthening the relationship with God, because that's the thing. Not the focus on an outcome or an end goal, but that daily consistency with Him is what's going to give me the ability to say, surely He'll help me out. Surely He will help me get through this. And I think, we talk about practicality and being applicable on this channel and in these videos. I think that's something that we see in life. Really, the more consistent we are with our relationships, the more we feel like we can rely on somebody to come through for us, the more we're willing to use that word surely. Even though we're in those moments where we have doubt and fear, we have hope because of that relationship and how we feel about that relationship. And that's definitely a level up position for me, because like I said, I'm being honest, it's been a struggle for me recently. Yeah. But I think to kind of conclude it on this verse, I would definitely want to get to a place where I have the confidence to say, surely he'll get me through. Surely he'll deliver me from this thing that I feel is life-threatening. And I'll be able to get through in a positivity and with a hope, despite my hope will be just bigger than my fear and my doubt instead of the opposite. Yeah. I need to work on that. And this is part of it, reflecting on it, understanding where I am, honestly, and being forthcoming with that. I definitely would not presume to say I'm out here talking about Bible stuff because I'm trying to teach everybody and because I have all the answers. No, this is exploratory for me, and it's an opportunity to be honest in a way through talking things out as opposed to writing things down, which I'm better at, and ultimately seeing how I can improve and grow. And hopefully it can be a benefit to you as well, not just in the sense of getting to understand something from the Bible better, but realizing that it's okay to be honest with how you feel and how you relate to God, and he can help you with that. Like, he's okay with working with you through that. I think that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, Psalm 91 verse 3. And there are 16 verses in here, so a long ways to go, but it's gonna be good. I enjoy the reflection and being able to come to some good conclusions about things that I can do, and being able to see God speak to me through this. So hopefully you do too. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace.